Yeah, I don't think there are any like great competitors, right? I'm always like kind of looking for them.
Oh yeah.
And there aren't really any. Like I like I don't know if you've seen Subsocial.
No.
It's a Polkadot project, but we can get into that.
Yeah.
So what's new with you on the big picture? It's been many moons. It's been many rotations of the sun. What's up?
I had this vision of like, okay, imagine like an empty VR space, and like you said, like say you and I are in that space and we're both orbs, right? And then let's say our orbs are, maybe they're like little toruses, like little donut shapes, like a sphere, and they're radiating mostly with the vibrations of the audio from our voices.
Ooh.
And those vibrations are like literally like working with one another in 3D space, like fluid dynamics.
Dude.
And then on top of that, if you and I join in on like maybe a certain type of engagement, I don't even know what it would be yet, but then like little connection grows, like a little tentacle, and then we're creating this like mycelial root structure that's also like interacting with the cymatics of the sound vibration.
Dude, there's been like all sorts of crazy stuff, like personal stuff, but on like the Imaginarium front, it's never been better in the sense that like I'm kind of living in that future a little bit where like my creative endeavors have accumulated enough to where I kind of doubled down and invested it a little bit, and now I'm seeing kind of like this return where basically this whole year I haven't spent any money for my weed. It's all become for my creative endeavors, and I'm expanding that just like personally, you know. And so I've been excited about that, and then like I've talked to Douglas Rushkoff.
And what Bowie was doing was much more like what, you know, Genesis Peorage talks about, you know, that you've got to, once you recognize yourself, you got to kill yourself to then move, you know, you got to change your name and move on and move to the next one, you know, and, you know, get reborn, keep getting reborn.
Mark Pesci.
So tell you a little story. So I got to be quite good friends with Terence McKenna before he passed, and he invited me to come down and spend, I don't know, 10 days with him. This is right before Christmas time in 1998, and he used to live sort of on the lower Big Island down south of Kailua, and I had some friends who were visiting at the same time, and on the winter solstice we decided we're going to go up to the volcano, and we went up to the volcano. And we walked across one of the craters, and then we went down the Chain of Craters Road to the place where there's this constant lava flow into the sea. And I remember walking on it, and I remember grabbing some of it. And a couple days later, I had taken some ayahuasca. Imagine that, when I was visiting Terence. And I'm having a classic ayahuasca experience, but I'm also now looking at this piece of rock that I've taken from the volcano. Do you know what volcanoes spit out? They spit out silicon. Well, they spit out silica, but they spit out fairly pure silicon. And all my life, I've known exactly what silicon is good for. It is the substrata of computation. And I looked at this and went, wait a second, the Earth is already a computer.
Working on fucking creating a DAO and like hanging out in some other projects and talking about what we could do with decentralized organizations. And you know me, I've always been on like the cultural front of it. And devising like a plan to where I have a rollout with NFTs. And first I want to like personally develop like using NFTs to like represent like part of the community, but also to like have more meaning and value other than, you know, how much you spent ETH on it, you know?
Yeah, that's so interesting. I think all the time about, it was like 2015, 2016, and you were talking Ethereum, and sometimes you just like, you have just willful stubbornness. Sometimes you just like, you have just willful stubbornness, like I'm pretty tech savvy, but I was like, oh, Ethereum, the other crypto, and like I never took the dive. And now that's what I do. I'm getting pretty heavy into SatoriD development.
Sweet.
And because of crypto, I don't have a day job, I'm really interested in what you're doing with your DAO, like what you guys are talking about or how it's going to be formulated and all of that, because that's what I do. I don't get on mines that often because I post and there's not much that happens, but I can see that, like, as far as my feed goes, because I'm not following many people, it looks like you rake in all the points.
This is funny because I'll tell you the inside baseball of that. Like, so I've been so consistent on this because, like, I don't care if anybody, like, watches my shit. Like, I do it for myself. So, like, I'll be doing it if I got tokens or not. But, like, I have been so, like, consistent on that. And I remember, too, when we find, like, okay, I was in fucking Florida living with a girl and she had 4 kids. And that was a whole other story. But anyways, I saw a commercial for PayPal. And I haven't, like, at this time, I haven't posted on mine for, like, 6 months. I forgot why I got pissed or whatever. But, I'm still creating. I'm still doing my shit. And then I see a commercial on PayPal that you could buy a Bitcoin and Ethereum on it. And I'm like, holy shit, what the fuck? The whole world's turned upside down. And I go, I need to talk to Bill. So I message Bill and then we do a fucking show. And then after I talked to Bill, I'm like, holy shit, this is why years ago thought, oh, let's see if I could earn a whole Ethereum coin. And so, okay, this is why I store this away. Now time to dust it off. Time to use it. And then I'm like, okay, I'm ready for when we go on Uniswap. Okay, this is where it's at. And, like, no one, like, was, like, paying attention. And so there was, like, a brief window and moment, And that brief...
where you just picked up a bunch of mines tokens as soon as it went on Uniswap?
Yeah.
Nice. Nice.
And then from there, it's what I've been telling on the show and telling people. And, I was telling people, okay, Mines is going to be on Uniswap. It's all about the liquidity. Put your stuff in the liquidity pool. Put your stuff in the liquidity pool. And then sure enough, the rewards only really matter if you put liquidity in the liquidity pool. To play the content game is fucking even worse. Like, before they like tweaked the thing, like, people, I know how to use Mines. I know and then so once I start seeing, like, people start gaming it just like way back in the day when we're talking about the point system, same shit. And then so I start, like, activating my alt accounts. Like, dude, I've been here forever. Like, let's play this game. And then so, like, I was just trying to, like, even out the score because I just saw it fucking up. And then that's when Bill, like, kind of, I knew that was going to happen. The tide and the squeeze on that shit. But what happens is that, like, people are either, spamming or, the same bullshit from, like, before. And no one is thinking about, like, how do we do something unique. And I've always been on that. So, like, on the content side, I am fucking ready. But, like, I spent, like, a year or so, like, 2 years ago or 3 years ago, fucking around on, like, Hive and all that shit. And I didn't care either on there. But, like, I was at this... You remember Sex, Death, and Rebirth? She was on there.
No, I don't.
Okay, she was on mine and she was on there. And she was, like, posting like crazy. And I just, like... Oh, I need to, like, compete with her. So, like, I ended up, like, creating this whole, like collage. Like, I just, like, got obsessed with, like, doing these collages and collages and collages. This is all to say that, like, I'm like Andy Warhol now. Like, I could do unique shit and I could do it fast, like boom, and like pump it up, but, like, it's good. And then you build the story and the meaning after that. Like, people don't understand. Mines can be the watering hole for the Web 3D world. People don't understand. Mines can be the watering hole for the Web 3D world. Where everybody's stuck in the Web 2. We need to go to the Web 3 world. And you only interact very so often when you interact with DAOs and when you interact with the real blockchain on these like scattered little places that are not populated. But mines can be the watering hole for that. Like, we should have these smaller YouTube channels on mines and putting liquidity in there. You know,
well, everyone's like everyone's moving to like Theta as far as like YouTube. Everyone's on like Theta and what's the other one? Like Library. I remember I played around with.
Yeah,
Library
I played with Library.
I don't know that it's the thing though. Yeah.
Everybody from mines was started posting videos on there, and then like, you know, it never really caught on. Like a lot of the poet people from like Open Mic Night, and you know, I try all sorts of different stuff. Like you know, every once in a while we stream some of the shows on like D Live or whatever. It's on the Binance one. We have some other. I've always like played around with different stuff, and even that doesn't matter. But like, at least in the sense that like, the Minds Plus is kind of fucked up right now. But we need.
That's the only
more.
thing.
Yeah.
As you're saying this should be the watering hole for Web3, because that's all I look for, right? Like I know about Minds, and I've been here for a long time, and I'm always just looking for the niche to be filled properly. And the Minds Plus and the people trying to mess with the system definitely fucks it up, and it has always fucked it up.
Yeah.
Like I remember being in New Mexico, and Lee and I found some exploit, and we had like trillions of points, and we're just sending them around, and like told Bill to delete all our points and all this shit because we just like went nuts with it.
Yeah.
But I think right, I like that, you know, we have the off-chain tokens in the wallet here, and that's kind of nice to look at. You know, it is showing that, you know, I'm not really doing anything, but I'm getting a couple bucks in a day. If I want to turn around and do anything with them on ETH, if I want to put them in a liquidity pool, if I want to trade them, if I want to do anything, it's going to cost me like $20, $40 or something. That is, you know, because of the congestion.
Yeah.
I think the next step, you know, obviously I haven't started talking to Bill or anyone yet because I've barely just been poking my head into the room. But we gotta move to like a layer 2.
Yeah.
Or something, because that's the big move right now is the interoperability. Like my big play is Polkadot.
The other side is the development toolchain.
I was always interested in continuing to build, to create. So I built the company that I want to work in. A company that's focused on helping the world get the best out of blockchain.
Many people here believe that this new wave of technologies can actually help, like bringing a technological backstop to the power accumulation that we're seeing in services like Facebook and Google. And now for the first time, we can use tech to actually address social problems in a much more fundamental way. Like not just applying math to do statistics, but like applying math to help that we don't have to put so much trust in services online.
I don't know if you've looked at what's happening there with Kusama.
I read just a few stuff, but I haven't played around with anything.
It's fractions of a penny per transaction. Mm-hmm. You know, you can list NFTs, bid on them. You can. Yeah. That's why I sent you that social network, is because I can submit posts that cost a fraction of a penny. Mm-hmm. You know, and I can comment and like things for a fraction of a penny. So there's the economic like incentive to not fuck around. Like it's the idea of being a validator and getting slashed, right? If you're spending pennies to interact on the network, to earn more pennies, and then you do something bad and you get slashed. Well, that sucks. You're probably not going to try and game the system anymore. So I think moving towards some kind of thing like that would be cool, especially when it's like cross chain and other networks and stuff. But
for sure, because so when they fucking did that shit with only, and I forgot, I was gone when that happened, and I come back and like Minds Gaming's all pissed, and then because so just this year, I forgot, my old friend like came back to Minds, and this is like when the token barely was like 25 cents or something, but like everybody's like, okay, this might be something, right? Might be worth something. And then because he was talking about like streaming video games, and then I was like, oh, Minds Gaming does that, like I'll hook you up with them, and he's like, okay, but like he flaked, and so like I did it, and then so all of a sudden I was like, hey, I'll co-host a show with you, and then so we've been doing that. So, and it kind of like went through, but that's all to say that during this time, Minds Gaming was like, oh, fuck this, about the point system, and he's fucking around with Mint Me, and then he actually did that so much that he launched his token on Ethereum. So like he has that, and then he wants to launch another token within, like there's a few of us that have this, and then he wants to do it on some other chain. But that's all to say that like there's already a group that's like still the Minds Underground that we're all ready to attack everywhere. But that's what I mean, like have you read The Starfish and the Spider? If not, read it.
Starfish and the Spider, no. I'll look it up right now.
Yeah. So it's about like essentially decentralized organizations versus centralized organizations. So the starfish, he cut off the leg and like you could grow a whole other starfish. Anyways, it has a cool history and it kind of goes all the way back. Anyways, that is to say that like even though we don't use Minds, we still I still keep in contact with people, and that we do stuff, and like this is the whole point. Like I want to create this like web series. It's the Minds Underground, and it's exactly that. Just people creating and either fully immersed or are wanting more of the Web3 world. Before we talked about it, now it's like, how do we use it and maximize it for each use case, and
yeah, that's exactly up my alley right now. Like that's so weird how it just kind of it was kind of obvious, but I wasn't ever too much into it. Like I listened to you talk about like Filecoin and IPFS and stuff a little bit back in the day.
Yeah.
But now that's stuff that I use every day.
Cool.
I'm looking at Mint Me because I haven't seen exactly this. There's some services like this, but
yeah. I mean, I actually don't really use Mint Me that much. Minds Gaming and all of them use it because I just don't. I mean, it's alright, but I don't. I looked into Rally, and I like that a little bit better because I think the network effect and the ecosystem that Ethereum has already, at least for the next 5, almost 10 years, like it's the ecosystem which all other pools will come from. When we're talking about to have an ecosystem, you need water in a pool, and I think Ethereum is going to build the biggest body of water for the open source Web3D, and then that comes down and we build bridges and rivers and oases and whatever else we want to build.
Okay, yeah, I'm looking at Rally right now with because I've heard of Wax before.
Okay. Yeah,
I've heard of this. No one was talking about that.
Yeah. They're already doing a little bit of what I'm talking about, like incentivizing people doing articles, and you know what I mean? And you get a little bit of their coin or whatever. And and
I'm trying to see so whenever you try and do stuff like that, people want it to all be on chain, right? So I'm trying to see and then how do you distribute the tokens? Creating a smart contract, setting that up to like a React interface on a website and that kind of thing. I would be interested in being a part of trying to put something like that together, like Mines Underground or whatever the hell it is, or however we go about doing that. Just got to get off of Ethereum, because those transaction fees are gonna be ridiculous for like a couple of years probably. Like it's not gonna get that much better that much soon.
It's at least a year out.